Listen, there's everyone, like, it's a mixture between, that was a mismatch, and you can't have a build-up where people are going, oh, that's an interesting fight, and then he does that and everyone goes, it's a mismatch. We all knew that early on in the fight there was every chance that could happen, but I didn't expect even it to happen that quick.
He's a world-class fighter, though. He's still a world-class fighter, but people don't see him as a world-class fighter no more.
If he gets in shape, he is.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Do you still believe that you knock out, at this point in your career, a fully in fit?
Really, what direction we're going to go in for this next step.
Who is next? Is Moses Itauma on the horizon?
All the guys in the heavyweight division, yeah, they're all the guy, especially the one who has the belts, and if the belts fragment or whatever, stuff like that can happen. Whatever way I can become two-time heavyweight champion. That's where I'm going.
Eddie Hearn didn't hold back when discussing a potential clash between Daniel Dubois and Moses Itauma. According to him, Dubois would be in serious danger if he ever stepped into the ring with Moses. Hearn's reasoning is simple. Itauma fights with composure, precision, and unshakable confidence, while Dubois has shown vulnerability when the pressure rises. In Hearn's view, the gap in mentality and resilience between the two is simply too great.
But Moses is a problem for everybody. AJ, Usyk, Fury, it doesn't matter who they are, but it's like...
Eddie Hearn kept it blunt. Moses Itauma would put Daniel Dubois through a nightmare. Think about it. If Dubois struggled to withstand Usyk's jab, how will he survive once Moses starts letting his heavy shots go? This wouldn't just be a tough night, it would be a demolition. In a matchup like this, Dubois doesn't simply lose, he risks being completely exposed.
He's not like he was when he was not taking it seriously and partying and whatever. He can hack, like, Moses is going to start having tough times against people who hold a good shot.
Eddie Hearn made his stance clear. Moses Itauma isn't the kind of fighter you take risks with too soon. He suggested that Frank Warren won't throw Moses into unnecessary tests at this stage, simply because the stakes are far too high. And really, it's hard to argue with that logic. Dubois has already stumbled on the big stage against Usyk, while Moses is being carefully developed with the expectation that he'll one day rule the heavyweight division.
Or he might knock him out, I don't know. But personally, at 20, you got to get it right. And Frank, like I said, Frank knows what he's doing. And I think I'd be very surprised if they took that kind of test. Yeah.
Moses Itauma also had a few revealing comments when reflecting on his sparring sessions with Daniel Dubois. He admitted the training was useful, but the way he said it, smiling, hinted at the real story. Moses has already seen the gap up close. Dubois may carry a tough image, but in the gym, Itauma has witnessed his limits firsthand. And if those cracks show during sparring, it raises the question, what would happen under the bright lights on fight night?
Dubois, how are you getting on with Daniel, by the way? Do you even speak much? Like, how's it go?
You know what? I'm actually surprised. He's completely different to what he portrays, like what people think he actually is. Like, no, I was surprised. But yeah, no, training with the bar it's been good. Obviously in that high altitude in Spain as well. Yeah, I can't really ask for a better prep camp.
I think it was in that George Groves podcast, you talked about maybe your most difficult spot has been Daniel Dubois, because he's like a plodder, he moves.
Yeah, no, it's literally styles makes fights, doesn't it? Yeah. And I think Dubois, his style is one of my trickiest. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it gels well.
Tony Bellew captured the moment perfectly. This isn't just another fight. It feels like a national occasion. He even went as far as to call it the biggest bout the country has ever witnessed. And it's easy to see why. Moses Itauma embodies the future of British boxing, while Daniel Dubois continues to carry the shadow of his surrender against Usyk. One man is on the rise, the other is still trying to prove he can endure.
I think this fight's just gone took another toll.
It's absolutely grabbed the public interest now to another level, isn't it?
This is quite simply the biggest fight this country's ever seen.
It's going to be huge.
Smith couldn't hold back his praise, noting that Moses Itauma ticks every box. And he's not wrong. Southpaw stance, sharp footwork, heavy hands, and the poise of a seasoned pro despite being only 20 years old. Put that next to Daniel Dubois, a fighter who has been shaken, broken, and even quit under pressure, and the contrast becomes clear. Moses thrives in the storm, while Dubois struggles to stay afloat. Smith did question whether this fight might come too early for Moses, but when a talent is this rare, too soon doesn't really apply. Dubois has already had his opportunities on the big stage and fallen short. For Moses, the story is just beginning, and it already feels like the outcome is heavily tilted in his favor.
Moses Itauma, who looks absolutely extraordinary, and for me, he ticked all the boxes. I like his attitude, I like his style, southpaw, hard-hitting, moves so well. He's going to be very, very difficult to sort of deter. So it's an interesting one because, yeah, is this too soon for Moses, or is this just the right fight at the right time?
Allen didn't pull any punches when revisiting Dubois' lowest moment, the night he surrendered against Usyk. Allen mocked Dubois for bowing out, pointing out that it wasn't a career-ending shot, yet he still chose to quit. That moment has become a permanent stain on Dubois' reputation, a stigma that only grows heavier each time he steps into a high-profile fight. The question now is simple. How does a fighter with the label of quitter survive against someone like Moses Itauma, a fearless, hungry 20-year-old with nothing to lose and everything to prove? Dubois has undeniable power, but when that power doesn't land, his confidence tends to unravel. Moses, by contrast, is relentless, inventive, and thrives in the heat of battle. As Allen bluntly put it, once a fighter quits at the top level, the memory never fades. Against Moses, quitting might not just be a possibility. It could be the inevitable outcome.
Up at the count of 10, and he walked straight across Usyk, straight to the corner. It was completely fine. I think, and you know what, it's horrific to say I've quit. It's not horrific to say I'm quit. I'm chairman of the quit committee. I'm top quitter, I guess. Anyway, he quit, yeah, he did.
Spencer Oliver didn't hold back. He's convinced Moses Itauma won't just beat Daniel Dubois, he'll do it in style. That's the real distinction. With Dubois, the question is always whether he can survive. With Moses, the expectation is about how spectacular the finish will be. Oliver described this fight as the test that will reveal Moses' true level. But in reality, his skill set already looks far beyond Dubois'. A 20-year-old southpaw with the movement of a middleweight and the punch of a heavyweight, that's Moses Itauma. Dubois has power as well, but when faced with slick movers like Usyk, he had no answers. Against Moses, it's not just footwork he'll be dealing with, but speed, spite, and skill all rolled into one. For Oliver, predicting a world title in Moses' future isn't hype, it's a blueprint. The path is laid out, and Dubois may simply be remembered as the stepping stone along the way.
Everything, because he knows it's last chance saloon for him. He needs the victory here. So, look, we find out just how good Moses Itauma is, I think, on the 16th of August when he boxes Dillian Whyte, because I think he wins it and wins it in style. But everyone they put in front of him so far is just dismantled. I think this kid's going to go on and...
Spencer Oliver talks about glory. Amir Khan urges patience when it comes to Moses Itauma. Khan advised against rushing the young heavyweight, stressing the importance of protecting rising talents. On the surface, he's right, but the irony is hard to ignore. At just 20, Moses already looks more polished and composed than Dubois ever has. Khan pointed to the likes of Usyk, Joshua, and Fury as the benchmarks for the division. But before that conversation, there's Dubois, who has already fallen short against Usyk, struggled whenever the pressure mounted, and still carries the stigma of quitting. So if Moses were to face him now, why wait? This doesn't feel like advice for Moses. It feels more like a lifeline for Dubois. Moses' maturity, skill, and confidence suggest he belongs with the elite sooner rather than later. And when the matchup with Dubois eventually happens, the outcome seems less like a question and more like an inevitability.
You know what? You don't want to rush him. You want to take it easy. You want to take it slow. Don't rush him. Let him enjoy. He's still 20 years old. Let him get to 22, 23 years old. And that's the time you start putting him in with the top names in boxing, like the Usyks and like the Wilders or even the Joshuas and the Furies. At the moment, I think you should keep on building him. Let him keep on winning.
Amber went beyond the usual hype, labeling Moses Itauma as one of the finest young fighters boxing has seen in years. And when a veteran voice like Amber speaks, people pay attention. He isn't swayed by headlines or knockout reels. He studies the details: footwork, distance control, shot selection. That's exactly where Moses stands apart. While Dubois throws heavy shots but often looks predictable, Moses reads, adjusts, and dismantles his opponents with precision. Amber's praise isn't about potential. It's about what Moses is already showing inside the ropes. Dubois' so-called rise was exposed the moment he shared the ring with Usyk. By contrast, at just 20, Moses looks like he's skipping levels, breaking down seasoned fighters with alarming ease. For Amber, this isn't empty hype, it's a warning. Moses isn't on his way. He's already here. And if Dubois happens to be in his path, history may remember him as the man who tried to stand against the storm and was swept aside.
I think Moses is one of the best young fighters boxing has seen in years. And I'm not just saying that based on a result over Dillian. I hope you understand that when I look at a fighter, I'm looking at things that others don't see. I'm not looking at the hype. I'm looking at what he does in the ring, how he does it, his skill set. I'm looking at that because that's the important stuff. And right now, to me, he's shown probably
Tony Bellew took on the one argument Dubois supporters always fall back on: size. But as Bellew rightly pointed out, size means nothing when it crumbles under pressure. Just ask Usyk, who's made a career out of dismantling men far bigger than himself. Moses might not yet have Usyk's refined craft, but what he brings instead is raw aggression, youth, and an unshakable mindset. Bellew didn't hesitate. He called Moses the future of the heavyweight division. That statement cuts through all the excuses. Yes, Dubois may stand taller, may look stronger on paper, but history shows size hasn't saved him before. When the fire gets hot, he wilts. Moses, he thrives on it. He lives for the challenge of breaking down bigger men and proving skill, speed, and intelligence now rule heavyweight boxing, not brute size. Bellew's message is clear. Moses has it all. Dubois doesn't. And deep down, Dubois likely knows it. Against Moses, being the bigger man won't protect him. It'll just mean he has further to fall when the punches land.
But the only thing that I worry about with Moses is the size. But ultimately, as we've seen now, size becomes irrelevant because look what Alexander Usyk's done. This guy's gone out and beaten everyone, including me. He's exceptional. So I don't think Moses is going to be as technically as good as Alexander Usyk, but he's the next in line. I think he's the future of the heavyweight division. I think he's an outstanding talent.
Mackenzie may have given the clearest snapshot of what's really at stake here. This isn't just about Moses versus Dubois. It's about the sport itself. Mackenzie said kids in his gym are buzzing, and that 3 generations of fans will be watching. That's powerful. It shows Moses has already crossed into the mainstream, becoming more than just a fighter. Dubois never had that spark. His fight sparked curiosity, not electricity. But Moses, at only 20, has ignited anticipation, hope, and a sense of inevitability. A feeling that a new heavyweight king is waiting in the wings. Mackenzie's point highlights a cultural shift. Fans of all ages want to see if the young phenom can deliver. And truthfully, it feels less like if and more like when. Dubois does bring danger, but his track record is riddled with fragility and inconsistency. Moses, on the other hand, brings talent, energy, and the ability to inspire a new generation of fight fans. That's why this fight has the country talking. It's not just a matchup, it's a moment.
Let's get that right. However, the intrigue that surrounds this fight, I've got young kids in my gym that are going to be tuning into this
3 generations are going to watch it, aren't they? That's what's great.
They're so excited about it.
What's truly at stake here isn't just another domestic clash. It's the future of British heavyweight boxing. If Moses Itauma wins, it signals the dawn of a new era. A 20-year-old phenom showing he's ready to topple names like Dubois, Joshua, even Fury. But if Dubois shocks the world, it rewrites his story, transforming him from the man who quit against Usyk into a redeemed contender. The question is, who's stronger in the mind? Moses, with fearless youth and composure beyond his years, or Dubois, desperate to erase the stain of surrender? This fight isn't about belts. It's about pride, legacy, and survival. So what do you think? Does Moses rise as the future king, or does Dubois pull off the upset? Drop your thoughts below.